What's going on, everybody? My name is Coach Stefan, and I am the owner of Pursuit Health and Performance. And this is the Everyday Pursuit podcast. Welcome. What's up, everybody? Uh, you know, it, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like diet, specifically, like just nutrition in general, is probably the area that most people struggle. Like, if you're listening to this and you feel like, yeah, I definitely don't have a grasp on nutrition like I would like, whether that is the knowledge or being consistent or maybe being confused. I'm gonna let you in on a secret, okay? And I don't hear a lot of fitness coaches talking about this, which is pretty crazy because I know what a lot of fitness coaches do to get and stay in shape. Now, I'm gonna lay this out. There's different types of fitness coaches, right? There's performance coaches, there are bodybuilding coaches, there are endurance coaches, right? There's so many different types of like fitness trainer slash coach. So I can't speak for all of them, but I will say that I've been in the world of kind of performance, not like an endurance per se, but performance coaching. We do train like military SWAT firefighters, stuff like that. So we do performance training. I have my CSCS. I more have like an athletic training and sports performance background, but I also dabbled a little bit in the world of like fitness modeling and physique. No, I didn't do bodybuilding competitions, but being pretty like jacked and shredded. So I feel like I have a good understanding of what most fitness coaches do. And if you don't know, I also do business coaching. So I work with a lot of other fitness pros and their businesses, which are different from mine. Um, and so I kind of understand what most fitness coaches do to stay in shape. And here's a little bit of secret. Now, I will say that I used to track macros. And if you don't know what those are, basically your proteins, your carbs, your fats, and your calories for your body type. And even for our clients in Pursuit, we use macros because it is the best method. It's science, it's numbers. And part of the reason we don't do a lot of like intuitive eating or diet constructs, which is basically what this episode's about. I'm going to get to that in a second. Is because if you take somebody that's brand new and you're like, oh, I just want you to eat intuitively and I want you to just have portion control. Well, that's probably what they've already been trying and it's not working. Versus if you could tell somebody, hey, I want you to track all your food. I know it's a lot of work. I know it can be a pain in the butt. I know it's a little bit extra. But what if you did it for the first month and you lost 5 pounds, 10 pounds, or in the first 3 months, you lost 20, 30 pounds, which we have all the time in our program. Would it be worth it? So be like, well, yeah, if I could 100% get those results, yes, it'd be worth it. Cool. Well, let's do it. Now, for most people, like you don't have to go that route, but you have to follow something. So let's break it down. Think about this. If you're on a diet, and for the purpose of this episode, let's just say diet is just any style of eating besides nutrition constructs, which again, I'm going to break down. So a diet, paleo, keto, whole 30, low carb, high protein, high carb, low protein. It doesn't matter. Okay. Vegan, vegetarian, those are all diets. Okay. So when you're on a diet, nutrition's purpose or a diet is to help you navigate towards a goal. Just like if you're on a specific program in the gym, hopefully that program is helping you get a specific goal, bigger, stronger, faster, leaner, more agile, right? Like it's a specific purpose. Now, a diet can be a way of eating. For very few people, though, it's a forever thing, right? Like, yeah, there's some people who are like, I'm vegan, I'm vegetarian. And basically most of their adult life till they died, they ride or die with it. And that's fine. But for a lot of Americans, they get on these diet kicks. You know, they last a month or 2 months or 6 months or maybe even a year, but long-term, they're not sustainable. And I will say this, we try to kind of get away from diets, at least in our coaching company. I can't speak for everybody else, but we try to get away from diets because they aren't really sustainable. And so what we do is we teach people nutrition constructs generally. But to be good at a nutrition construct, you have to first understand dieting. Not saying you get to do it per se forever, but you need to understand. So macro counting is a diet. Now, you might say, well, no, if I hit my macros, I can eat whatever I want. I get it, but it's a construct of rules to follow, right? So it is sitting there and saying, I mean, construct's the bad word because I'm going to confuse you. It's a set of rules to follow to achieve X goal. Like, why would you eat low carb? Well, most people lose body fat. Why would you be a vegan? Oh, maybe you're allergic to food, or maybe you don't want to eat meat or whatever. Why would you do paleo? oh, because of this and this. So there's reasons. Okay. Macros are the same way. It's just what's called flexible dieting, right? If you ever heard that term, it's funny because it's like, wait, how can you be flexible and dieting? Well, what it is, it's like you got to follow rules, but it's not as strict. It's flexible. As long as you're within this framework, I'm going to eat 200 grams of carbs, 80 grams of fat, and 145 grams of protein or whatever your macros are. I can eat whatever I want within those. So it's restrictive for the size and the portion and the quantity of the macronutrient in the food, but it's actually not cutting out certain things. And it, macro based stuff is it's more and less restrictive. It's more restrictive because you got to like weigh out and measure your stuff and prep your stuff, but it's way less restrictive because you can basically eat generally what you want versus paleo and all that. You should still be tracking your macros, but that's another level because you can only eat meats, nuts, fruits, and vegetables. So no grain, no dairy, no, other stuff. So nutritional constructs, the moment you've been waiting for, this is what fit people do that I know in the industry. Basically what they do is they sit there and they have kind of like a general rule that they mostly stick to, a diet that they follow. And that's like an 80%. If you ever heard of 80-20, it's the biggest, fad word in the industry. 80-20, 80% of the time you're really strict, 20% of the time you do what you want. It's actually not bullshit. It's real. Like that's how I live my life. And that's a nutritional construct. Now it doesn't have to be right on 80, right? Like 8 out of 10 days I'm eat perfectly clean and 2 days I eat terrible, but that's not a bad ratio. So again, the cool thing, and I've talked about this on some episodes, is it's very tweakable and it still keeps you on track. And I'm going to break down exactly how I do it. Real life. This is what I'm doing today, August 2023, so you guys understand. So what I do, and I've been doing this for a very long time nutritionally, and it has served me pretty well in having a good physique, performance, all that kind of stuff, is I personally eat paleo style most of the time, which I highly suggest for most people. I don't have like a lot of nuts like I used to. Sometimes I'll dabble with some peanut butter. I ate some peanut butter and banana today and stuff, but I mostly eat meats, nuts, fruits, and veggies, minus the nuts really. So meats and fruits primarily, dabble in some vegetables, sprinkle in some nuts. That's most of my meal, right? Like most of my meals are with that. Now, that's 80 to 90% of the food I eat throughout the day. However, I do have a little bit of chocolate at night. I'm not going to lie, guys, got a little sweet tooth basically every night. Last night I got gelato, but when's the last time I got gelato? Weeks ago. So again, like I allow myself some freedom, but most of my food's really, really pretty healthy. And I basically eat the same crap every day. So it's not even I don't even have to track my macros anymore. You know why? I know what I'm eating every day. I know that if I eat the same breakfast, which I basically eat every morning, and I'm eating the same snack, I can basically cycle 3 or 4 lunches, and then I can kind of mix what I want for dinner. And I'm basically within my macros every time without even trying. And most of those foods are coming from meats and fruits and vegetables. So do you think that if I go out on a Friday night and I remember I ate like that for my breakfast and my lunch and maybe even my dinner, and I went on a Friday night at 9 a.m. and I had wings and fries and 2 beers, that's just going to like ruin my whole week? Hell no. Hell no. Also, I've been training really hard. Would that set you back more than not having it at all? Sure. You're putting shit in your body. But I also don't care because I want that. Right? Like that's the balance. And because I'm good 80, 90% of the time, and I'm really, and when I say good, some coaches are like, oh no, everything you do is good. No, it's not. That's not true. Not everything you do is good. Like beer and pizza and wings are not good for you. I'm sorry. They're not. Can you do it and be okay? Absolutely. I do it. Yeah. Would it be better if you never did that? Again, sure. But like, let's be realistic. There's a balance, right? Like the point I look at like money. Should you just save all your money forever and just in case? Sure. But also the point of having money and working your ass off is to spend it and enjoy your things. So it's the same thing. Like I don't sit there and get jacked and shredded and in good shape just to like be in my office all day, which sometimes I am. But like I want to go out. I want to go things. And it's not to me to show off my body, but like also kind of is like I want people to be like, oh, this guy's fit, and go out with my wife and she's like, oh, this is my husband. Like I work hard and I want to be able to do things like I'm having beer and pizza and wings and I have zero guilt. Zero guilt. In fact, give me that. Give me it, bro. Give me another one because I earned this. Right. And I'm not just saying I earned it for a hard week of work, like in like this job, but I actually earned it too because I put in the work. I did the things I was supposed to. And there's nothing wrong with having a social life and having some balance and having a little bit of fun with food and nutrition. But you can't do that. It's really hard to do that, I should say. Maybe you know how. It's very challenging to do that when you're on these like really strict, really like stringent guidelines. And a lot of diets are like, you can't have, and then there's a list. Versus if you heard what I said, I didn't really say you can't have. I said you should have, right? It's actually the opposite. You should have mostly this so you can do this. I didn't actually say the word can't. It's non-restrictive, right? It's like you're going to have so much healthy food that you only have a little room for crappy food, right? Like that's the whole point. And I don't feel restrictive. And again, the foods I eat throughout the day aren't like, oh, I'm going and eating these miserable tuna and rice every single day to have something yummy. No, you don't want to be there because then that like one little bite of chocolate is not going to do shit. It's just going to make you crave more. That's not the whole point. Okay. The whole point is that you can get to a place where you end up eating the food you like, which I do. I legitimately enjoy my food. And again, if you're like, well, I don't like any of that food. Well, you've probably been eating really terrible, highly processed, highly flavored food for so long that like healthy things, sweet potatoes and chicken and rice and salads, not with a ton of dressing, like actual salads or cucumbers or eggs or maybe just cottage cheese. Those things are not tasty to you. Well, yeah, you're used to eating just like freaking whatever you're eating, pizza and wings and hot dogs and shitty stuff and burgers and French fries and, pastas with, chicken Alfredo. Yeah, dude, of course you're eating literally the best tasting things out there. So everything else is going to seem shitty to you. But if you actually just made yourself eat those things and seasoned it right, you'd be like, oh, this isn't that bad. Then when you go out to eat on date night or you go on vacation, it's like, awesome because you don't usually have that food. And that's what I experienced. I'm like, let's go eat sushi buffet once a month or once every 6 weeks. And every time it's epic. And every time I shove my face full of food and leave with a stomach ache. And I love every moment of it because I have zero guilt. I don't do it that often. And it's fun. I like to eat. Food is social and cultural and emotional. And but it doesn't need to be like that all the time, right? Food, I don't think every meal should be like, what do I really feel like? You should listen to your body. No, you shouldn't. Let me say that again. If somebody says you should just listen to what your body wants, no, that's actually a really bad advice because probably if you're listening to this, possibly you might be really unhealthy and your body's sending really terrible signals because you sit at a desk or you're sitting all day, you don't exercise, you're under a lot of stress, and your body is actually going to send signals, and they're called glucocorticoids. It's chemical process in your brain that you produce where you are under high stress from excess cortisol and really probably living a very sedentary, high stress lifestyle. And you might say, I'm not under stress. I mean, think about traffic and home life and work life. You're probably under more mental stress than you think. You might even not be sleeping well. And you're going to listen to your body. All right, go ahead. I know what your body is going to want you to do. It's going to want you to wake up, grab a sugary ass coffee because it's like caffeine. I'm tired. Mask it. Let me go and get, sugar to wake me up. Right? Terrible. It's going to have you crave fatty and salty things the rest of the day because glucocorticoids, specifically stress, like caused by stress, make you crave the three most energy efficient survival things, which is sugar, fat, and salt. So yeah, go listen to your body and go eat a bunch of sugar and go eat a bunch of unhealthy fats because I know you ain't grabbing the avocado, and go eat a bunch of salt. And no, not pink Himalayan or Celtic sea salt. You're probably getting salt from like sodium shit on your fast food or whatever you're getting for lunch or your Subway. That's different. Okay. So don't listen to your body. Now, if you're eating really healthy and you're only having, like, let's say you actually did paleo for 30 days, then after your body gets reset and calibrated, then you can listen to it. And I've done that before. Like my wife and I have done paleo. And I remember when we first did it, like I had like a bad sugar craving, which I probably have now. And I sat there and only ate meats, nuts, fruits, and veggies for 30 days. By day 25, like I was like, I want a cheesecake or something like that. It sounded disgusting. My taste buds recalibrated. My skin got better, everything. Now at that point, I can make good nutritional decisions and listen to my body. But for where you are right now, literally don't do that. Now, here is the caveat. The caveat is I do listen to what my body needs, but not necessarily what foods I crave, right? Like when I wake up in the morning, my body's not like, Stefan, give me 50 or 60 grams of protein. That's not what it says. In fact, a lot of days I'd rather just have like a big bowl of oatmeal with some brown sugar, raisins, and some butter. That sounds so good. Like that's what I want. Okay. But I know there's just like a lot of carbs and a lot of sugar, and it not really is helping me out. Instead, I have eggs and I might have some oat bran, but I throw a little bit of berries in there and some protein powder because like that's what my body needs, not necessarily what I think it wants, right? Because that brain feedback might not be accurate. So what I follow, like I said, is a nutritional construct. It's mostly paleo, but here's where people get around. They go, "Oh, you're keto." Well, wait, keto is a little bit different because you go in and out of ketosis, but like paleo or vegan or whatever, everybody's like, "Yeah, I'm vegan, but I also eat this." Dude, you don't need to justify it to anybody. If people ask me, like just for explanation purposes, yes, I mostly do paleo, but I'm not like I'm paleo and they're like, "Oh, you had bread. I thought you were paleo." I don't give a shit. Like I am mostly paleo. That's most of my food. However, the other 15 to 20% of the time, I'm gonna have whatever I want. If I'm really trying to get dialed in and shredded, you know what I do? I just crank it up and I go, oh, I'm not going to do 80-20. I'm going to do 90-10. If I have a photo shoot, I'm going to do 95-5, right? It's super easy, but I don't ever go below 80-10 because then for me, I'm like, that's when you start getting chubby and you got to do a lot of backtracking work. So every fit person that I know usually does a nutritional construct, even macro trackers. I have some friends that are shredded to the bone, natural, unnatural, and they sit there and they're like, yeah, I track my macros like most of the time, but like I go out with my friends and obviously I can't track there. Yeah. Don't bring your food scale to the restaurant. Memories over macros. That's what our head coach Bryce says, right? Build your memories over macros. Like it's okay. Have fun. Enjoy yourself. You have the whole rest of the week to track. Now, if you're going out 3 nights out of the week and eating like a 13-year-old and drinking alcohol, yeah, you're going to have terrible results. But if you spread out your fun times, your memory times, you'll be fine. So here's my recommendation for you. My recommendation is, if you're just starting out on this, is 100% track your macros. Please track your macros. And if you don't know them, you can go to a TDEE calculator. So total daily energy expenditure calculator, Google it, or you can get a coach, right? Like we do, and we can do custom macros. And here's the thing about the TDEE. It might be actually decently accurate day one, but depending on your energy output, your exercise, and how your body changes, you actually will need to be changing that on a weekly or semi-weekly, at the most monthly basis, in my opinion. So you got to know how to adjust it. And it honestly comes with a little bit of experimentation, more than anything else. Okay. So to wrap it up, like track your macros for about 60 days minimum, get a really good idea of the foods you eat. Make sure you're hitting don't just track them and hit your macros consistently for at least 30 to 40 of those days. So you got 10, 20 days to figure it out. And then once you understand, figure out how you can hit those without tracking. Like take off a week and just be like, can I eat the same stuff basically, or the same couple things, and like hit my macros? And it's a little bit of experimentation. Once you have that under control, you're like, hey, I cycle between breakfast 1, 2, 3, and they're relatively the same macros. I cycle through lunch 1, 2, 3, and they're relatively the same macros. If you could do that, oh my God, you have just won. You've won. That's the easiest thing to do, because now you can sit there. There's no battle. You're like, okay, well, 75% of my daily calories are already taken care of. And all I have to do is figure out dinner. Like, right. And if you're smart, you'll front load your protein and back load your carbs. So basically for dinner time, you only have like 40 grams of protein, 30 grams of protein to get in, but you might have like 100 carbs left over. That's a yummy dinner, right? Because then you can have the carb, the pasta, a little bit of chicken, and you can have a dessert. And that's basically what I do every night. Like I have sweets, I have some carbs, yes, at night, right? So people say, oh, don't eat past 5. Don't eat past 7. Don't have carbs late because you're not using them and they're all going to turn to fat. By the way, all that's BS, bro science. That's not true. If I eat 175 grams of carbs and I eat it 3 hours before bed, but I still get the same amount of carbs in a 24-hour period, not a big deal. The only time I would say that that matters is pre-workout, right? About 2 to 3 hours before, you probably should have a substantial amount of carbs, which for me at 180 pounds, it's like 30 carbs, maybe 40. Okay. And then post-workout is my biggest carb meal where I want 60 to 80. Other than that, you don't really need carbs anytime, which I'm not really going to get into too much, but like generally you don't need a lot of carbs. And those are my numbers. So don't be like, oh, Coach Stefan said, I got to do this. I don't know your body type. So again, post-workout, you want enough fuel to just crush it in the gym. Pre-workout, if it's 30 minutes, you don't need a bunch of carbs. But for me, I train for about 90 minutes and I'm pretty depleted when I get out the gym. So I want a big sugary meal to spike my blood sugar, release some insulin, growth hormone, and get jacked and shredded. So, don't tie into the whole like jumping from diet to diet. I know that's probably not what you want anyways. It's super easy. You go do your macros for like 2 months, then you follow a nutritional construct, whichever one works for you, where you are following some type of guidance. You can't just wing it. You can't just be like, I'm an intuitive eater. I'm like, okay, so what's your plan? Oh, well, I just eat intuitively. No, that's not a plan. That's a statement. What does that look like? What does that physically, visually look like? Oh, I just like eat when I'm hungry. Okay, well, I already know you're failing. If I only ate when I was hungry, I'd miss my macros every day and be low on my protein, right? Which I know sounds weird, but again, like we're not living normal lives, guys, that like humans are really designed to live. I'm at a desk almost all day. So I'm not out working in a field where my body's like, yes, you need this protein and crave it. I'm like, yeah, I do crave protein, but I'm not living a life where I'm burning a ton of calories. I'm pretty freaking, look what I'm doing right now. That's it. I'm pretty sedentary. I train really hard when I train, but I'm pretty sedentary. So I can't just listen to my body signals. That's a great listen to your body-ish, but also put your body in check. Just like if it's 12 at night and you have to wake up at 5, what if you're like, oh, I'm not tired, I'm not going to bed? Bad idea. Terrible idea. Okay, so because you're not tired, let's get 3 hours of sleep tonight. I'm not tired. That's what a little kid does. But I'm not tired. I don't want to go to bed. Like, dude, and you tell the kid, I know you're not tired, but you still need to go to sleep. Yeah, I know you're not hungry, but you still need to eat your freaking protein. Like it's different. Our bodies aren't always giving us the signals of what we need as hard as they try, especially in 2023, where we're sedentary and technology runs our lives. Okay? So follow nutritional construct. And once every at least I'm telling you what I do. I don't know who's listening to this, but once every 6 months, I'll track my macros for a week. That's it. I've gotten to that point. Not telling you to do that, but I track my macros for a week and I'm probably when I feel I kind of think I'm off. Let's say I switch up my breakfast a little bit or some things kind of change nutritionally or my schedule. I'm like, man, maybe I'm not hitting my macros. I'm going through a big yogurt and cottage cheese phase right now, which I am on and off. I don't know, I think every 6 months my gut health changes a little bit and I'm like, oh, I can handle it or not handle it, or, I feel good doing it. And so I've been getting in 2 yogurts and I mix some cottage cheese with it, which is probably at least 20 to 22 grams of protein a piece. So I've been getting 2 of those a day, which adds 40 grams. So I'm like, oh, wait, am I over my protein now? So I had to kind of retrack all my stuff for a week and recalibrate. And then I'm like, oh, okay, I was off on here. I was basically way under on my healthy fats. I was good everywhere else. So I started to have more yolks in the morning. I had to actually snack on more nuts and then cut back a little bit on actually the protein. I was a little bit over. So again, and then guess what? After I made those adjustments, I'm like, cool, I don't have to track again for months and months and months. And it works. I mean, if you look at my physique and you look at all the pictures I've taken over the last couple of years, I basically look the same. And that's purposeful. I haven't strived to just get more jacked and more jacked and more jacked. I've been working on my mobility and my flexibility, which has nothing to do with really the way I look. And I've been building this business and spending time with my family. Those are the important things. I already have a really good physique. That's fine. And you're probably not there. So you might need to put in a little more time and effort, but you're going to know if it works. Right. And we have clients literally every day in our program where it's like, are you losing weight? Cool. Are you losing body fat? Because at our gym in person and a lot of our online clients, we get them to do body scans. So it's literally a scale that is a $10,000, $12,000 piece of equipment. It's not just like the scales you order on Amazon. That tells you a really accurate reading of your body fat and your muscle mass. And so I'm like, cool. Are you burning body fat and at least maintaining or building muscle mass? Yes. Okay. What you're doing is working. Instead of being, well, but this diet and this, dude, it doesn't matter. Is it working? Is it fitting with your lifestyle? Yes. Do you like it, or do you at least not hate it? Yes. It's pretty good. Sweet. Are you getting the results you want? Yes. There's nothing else to talk about. Stop thinking about every little but this is better. Dude, you're going to get nutritional anxiety, which is a real thing, where you read articles on internet and everybody's telling you this is best and this is best. I don't even know what's best for you. If you're a client and I meet with you and I work with you every day and we're really in depth, I could tell you what's best. Like probably, but you also have to give feedback and you have to tell me this works, this doesn't work. I like this, I don't like this. That's literally what we do every day with our clients. You're just going to do it with yourself if you don't have a coach. So you're just going to go and be like, oh yeah, this works for me. This doesn't work for me. Well, why doesn't paleo work? Oh, they don't have this food available, or I don't like it, or this makes me break out, whatever. Cool. It's a little bit of experimentation. I do the paleo because I know my body feels really good off beef and sweet potatoes and chicken. Like, I don't know why those foods just like do really well with me. And most fruit makes me feel really good. Like I just feel good on it. I used to be a huge vegetable person. Honestly, I kind of strayed away from it. I think my body's not liking them as much. I do take supplements and some multivitamins, and I take a daily green. Maybe that's not a replacement, but like I feel good. My blood markers are good. I'm healthy. I sleep good. My hormones are good. I'm not on TRT or any of these other shit. I'm healthy. So, I mean, what I'm doing is working. Could I get healthier? I mean, I guess, right? Well, I feel pretty good. And I'm not about not improving, but again, right now I'm focused on performance, mobility, and flexibility because I have a lot of injuries. Once I get that done, I can drop in the splits and do all this cool shit. Yeah, then I might like try to do deeper health in my gut health and do different things. But right now, for where I am and what I'm doing enough. And I'm glad I'm at that point, because that's what nutritional construct's about. Like, is it the perfect thing? I mean, I don't know, but as sure as hell, I'm pretty happy with it. It's getting me results. Great. And now my brain doesn't have to think about exercise and fitness and nutrition all day long. Even when I'm a coach, I'm just like, cool, I worked out, I ate my food, I feel good, I look good, I'm happy. Like, great, this is awesome. I think that's what most people want. I don't want it, even with our clients, I don't want it to be this like all consuming thing. For a period of time, may it seem like that, or is it going to kind of feel like that? Sure. At the beginning, it's always a lot of effort. It's always a change, but eventually you're going to get to where I am and where Coach Bryce and Coach Mike and Coach Riley, and I'm pretty sure I can speak for ourselves. Not all of us track macros every single day. Coach Bryce, I know, is really big into macros. I know Coach Mike doesn't really do it, and he's jacked and shredded and strong and a performance beast. I don't think Coach Riley tracks all her meals, but she does follow construct. She's very specific about the food she eats and eating everything natural and grass-fed and organic. And I have my own construct, and they all work, and we're all in good shape, and we're all fit. So you have to kind of find like what it works for you the vast majority of the time, and then what ratio you want a little bit of freedom. Do you want to be an 80-20? And do you want to be a 90-10, a 95-5, a 99-1? You have to understand what your life's going to look like and what's realistic for you. My biggest and last thing I'll tell you is find the line of challenging your freedom a little bit. Don't be like, well, I want to be like a 70-30. Probably won't be super happy with your results. 70-30 or anything below. Like, start at 80-20. If you're like, man, that's really hard. 80% of the time, yes, it's supposed to be hard. It's supposed to be a challenge. But the problem, or not the problem, the thing is, eventually that will just be a new normal. Like, yeah, it's hard at first because you're used to eating 50-50. But once the 80-20 becomes just a way of life, it's easy. And when I go back home and everybody's eating shitty every day and I'm not, and I'm like, cool, you feel terrible and you're complaining about your belly and you're complaining about the way you look and your energy levels, and I'm feeling great. I'm going to the gym and doing all that. That's the lifestyle that I choose. But I'm still eating cake with my son on his birthday. I still went and got a beer with my friend. I still had pizza with the family. I'm still doing a lot of the things and I don't feel like I'm missing out, but I also have really none of the negative consequences that everybody else is experiencing. It's been a long day. Because I'm choosing to just have better balance. That's it. I'm not really doing too much different. I'm just like having a little bit of delayed gratification and better balance. That's it. Like it's not a super complicated thing. And just like things with most things in fitness, it's not easy, but it's simple, right? And there's a difference. Like simple is like you just do this. Yeah, but easier said than done, right? So I understand this stuff is pretty simple, but it's not easy. And that's part of the reason that I'm always an advocate for getting a coach. Yeah, I'm biased. I own this company. Of course, I want to be able to help you. But when you're doing it on your own, shit's difficult. Like it is not easy. It's hard. And until you can like get to the point to reach out for help, you might just struggle. You might have nutritional anxiety and you're like, I don't know what to do and blah, blah, blah. And I talk to people, by the way, all different industries within health and fitness. And the most common thing I hear is there's so much information out there. I don't know who to believe. Everything's conflicting. This person says this on TikTok and this person said this and their way. And I get paralysis by analysis. And I tried this and this didn't work, but then I did this and this. And I'm like, dude, that sounds miserable. I mean, I've been there, but it sounds pretty terrible. Don't you just want to like know what to do, get the education and solve it once and for all? Considering you're going to be eating every day the rest of your life until you die. Don't you think that's probably a pretty good time and money investment, right? Cool. And I mean that in every sarcastic way. Like, dude, it's not just like upgrading this gun part. Like, dude, you have to eat every day, multiple times a day until you die forever. Why would you not learn nutrition? It blows my mind. Why would you not be like, that's a good thing to invest in? Like, I think they should teach what we teach in health coaches early on in middle school and high school and have you understand nutrition and performance in every school. So, if that happens, you can thank me. That's definitely something we should do because it's crazy seeing 30, 40, 50-year-old adults that have families that like don't know how to eat properly or execute it. I don't understand. I honestly don't. And this isn't me shitting on anybody. Like probably they've never been taught, but I'm like, dude, it's something you do every single day. It's unavoidable. Why is it okay that you're just brushing it off every single day? Like at what point are you like, we should probably learn how to eat well, right? Like exercise is a kind of a different boat, but like nutrition, come on, guys. You're teaching your kids how to eat and you're like, I don't know. So I'll just teach them random shit because I don't know either. Like, no, eventually you have to be like, you know what? I'm going to change this. I'm going to learn. Dad's going to learn. He's going to lose the weight. Mom's going to learn. She's going to lose the weight. I want my kids to see what a healthy lifestyle is going to look like as they're growing up. I teach them about nutrition and balance and all that so they're healthy and can teach their kids and pass it on in generations. My son's 13. And yeah, I mean, he's at the age where he doesn't like to make a lot of good nutritional decisions. But up until he hit that like teenage stage, he ate really well, actually. He picked good foods a lot of time. And I have no doubt that after he gets out of this, like I eat like crap because I'm a teenager phase, I think when he gets older, he'll eat healthy and he's in sports and he'll want to get the protein in. He'll ask questions. Good. Because now you know and you're not lost. And so I have really no concerns with my son growing up and being healthy, not just because I'm a fitness coach, even if I wasn't, because he's seeing me do these habits and I'm teaching him along the way. So again, guys, not just about families, but do the nutritional construct for you. You'll be happy. It is a lifetime sustainable thing. I promise you, like what I'm doing now, I'll be doing when I'm 65, 70 years old. Guarantee. It might look a little bit different. It might change a little bit, but I almost guarantee you that it's going to be pretty much the same because it works really well in any scenario, whether I'm busy, not busy, stressed, not stressed. Okay, maybe not sick, but basically in any scenario, like I can make it work. Traveling, not traveling. So again, when you're like, I'm doing paleo, but I'm traveling, I fell off. No, I did keto, but like they didn't have any keto. No, that's stupid. Don't do that. Don't set yourself up for failure on this super dogmatic, ultra restrictive diet. That literally helps nobody. So hopefully this episode was helpful. If it was helpful, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, and share this episode with somebody you think it would be valuable. You can go check us out at pursuithp.com, which we're having a new website called thepursuit.com, I think, or the Pursuit HP. Don't even post on here. Don't quote me. But you can go check me out on Instagram. It's Stefan Coons _fit, which should be down here. I'll have my VA post it. Check us out on our business page on Instagram, which is Pursuit _HP. And then obviously here on the podcast, guys. So really appreciate it. I love you. Thanks for tuning in. I am super tired and I got to sign off for the night. So I love you and I'll see you next episode.